the final leg of the campaign. So in the final leg, what we do usually, we wind up with a rally. Today we are doing a rally in Gauhati. I have done rallies in all the other constituencies.
What motivated you to join politics?
I have not with to contest elections, you see. Now the motivation is that because our leadership failed us, all our political parties who represent the indigenous interest, because they reneged on their promises. And not only did they renege and not only did they fail their promises, but they actually put our own identity into jeopardy. We are today on our way to becoming a minority in 2040. And for that, you need to take three essential steps in case of existing migrants who are already in Assam. You need to have protective legislation which gives rights, exclusive rights over land to local indigenous people, land, government jobs, trade licenses, etc. Also, those 60 lakhs foreigners who have gotten the NRC, they need to be excluded. None of the parties are interested in it. All the political parties only reach out to the Bangladeshi vote bank, whether it's Hindu or it's Muslim. The Congress goes for the Muslim, the BJP goes for the Hindus. And they ignore the indigenous people to our detriment, which is why we are on our way to becoming a minority. So that was and none of the parties took up this agenda of doing anything, though we've been doing public campaigns over the last 3 years. Then secondly, the other issue is trusting of new foreigners, either through the Citizenship Amendment Bill or which the Congress which wanted to bring all foreigners up to 2015. So today none of the political parties are with the indigenous people. Someone has to stand up and fight for their rights. And the only language that the political class understands is votes and elections. So because nobody was doing it, at the last minute, I took this decision only in February. It was not a question of motivation, it was a compulsion, I'd say, to go into politics, because if I did not stand for elections in Gauhati, there would be virtually none in the whole of Assam, which would be espousing exclusively the indigenous cause.
If you win this election, what is going to be your first?
The first step is to be a strong voice for the indigenous people. Today, nobody speaks up for us anyway. The Congress and the BJP, the MPs, they only use the indigenous vote bank at the time of elections for their interest, and after that they discard it. So I have to be a consistent and a strong voice for the indigenous people in Parliament, and that's my first and foremost step which I am going to take. And after all, of course, then there will be other issues relating to development of Gauhati constituency and the various needs of various parts. But all of that will be addressed, of course, and can be done simultaneously. But the first and foremost priority for which the people will be electing me is to represent them in Parliament and to speak up for the indigenous people, because there are Gauhati is a very indigenously strong constituency which represents all of Assam.
Do you plan to join any party post?
No question. Because none of the today, as I said, and I keep saying, even if Mr. Narendra Modi or Mrs. Sonia Gandhi or Prafulla Mahanta offered me tickets personally from their own respective parties, I could not have stood on their party tickets, because none of them stand today for protection of indigenous people. None of them stand for excluding foreigners from NRC. All of them want to bring in more foreigners. So none of the political parties are aligned today with the cause of the indigenous people. There is no vote bank. Let me be very clear. People vote for issues. If the Congress was voted in 2009, it was voted out in 2014 and 2016 only because the BJP raised the issues of protecting indigenous identity. This time there are no issues. Neither party has any issues. The main issue is protection of indigenous identity. All the parties have today deserted the indigenous. People voted for them to protect the indigenous cause. 2014 and 2016 elections, particularly for the BJP. They came not because they were BJP, they came because they espoused the indigenous cause. They have today deserted that cause, therefore there is no vote with the BJP. The Congress is anyway known as a Bangladeshi party. Let me also say, therefore reiterate, that there is no vote of any party as such. People now look after their own interests. They are not interested in protecting the interest of corrupt middlemen leaders who are only interested in flattery, in the politics of flattery and menial behavior.
To make your voice heard post-election, whom do you support?
I will be with the causes that I have espoused, that the people are with. That is the cause we are going to go with. Give us protective legislation. Give us an NRC free of foreigners. Give us no further imposition of foreigners.
Apart from CAB, what are the other issues that you are going to face?
See, CAB is only in respect of those foreigners who are supposed to be brought in. We are now speaking about foreigners who are already here, who are going to turn us into a minority. So the first and foremost step will be to protect us from becoming a minority in their hands by reserving land, jobs, employment, trade licenses only for indigenous people, and secondly by removing all these people from the NRC, all the foreigners who are included in the NRC.
So, as per the press conference held on 8 April 2019, the Assam unit of a BJP filed a police complaint against you on the charges of trespassing into one of the election offices and stealing some of the important documents. So, what is the status of
That is a clear lie. In fact, they have got caught because this whole thing was covered live on TV, and it was an empty office. We went into an empty office and showed up them in poor light because there was no supporter that they have. So because they wanted to cover up for the embarrassment, they filed a police complaint. But they filed a false complaint because it was covered live on a couple of channels, and the channels have shown that there is nothing, no material, no publicity material which is there.
So, why did you choose to contest independently? Why not join a party?
No, we can't because no party is with us. No party is with indigenous today. No party is willing to protect the indigenous to give us protective legislation. No party wants to exclude NRC, foreigners from NRC. All they want to do is include foreigners in NRC. And all parties want to bring in foreigners. Congress is opposing CAB now, but in 2015, they wanted to bring in all foreigners regardless of religion. See, this whole election is about restoring indigenous pride and indigenous self-respect. And the first step of the people of Gauhati will be to re-establish indigenous pride and indigenous self-respect.